Just love that video you just saw. He was a Capital Region broadcast icon. To us, he was a friend and a colleague we loved and revered. Tonight, we say goodbye to Ed O'Brien, who passed away this morning at the age of 59.
Ed's career spanned more than 40 years on local radio and television, the last 24 of them right here at CBS 6. That friendly and reassuring face that you woke up to every morning.
He was special to so many of us in so many ways, so now we look back at a career, the likes of which you will most likely never see again.
Ed O'Brien was a newsman.
We often refer to our broadcast in the morning as a hard news broadcast.
Tough as nails, he also had wit and charm.
6 a.m. on this Tuesday morning, this chair will be occupied by Nicole momentarily.
Intelligence and charisma. He had gravitas.
Chuck Schumer, longtime congressman, member of the Judiciary Committee, opposing impeachment from the beginning, is on the verge of moving now, of course, to the U.S. Senate.
Well, Ed has been an amazing journalist here in the Capital Region for over 45 years.
Ed was born and raised in Albany. He made his first TV appearance as a child with Freddie Freihofer on WRGB's Breadtime Stories. He wasn't much older than that when he started his professional broadcast career, working for local radio stations as a teenager.
He tells me the story that he called Bill Edwardson an icon in radio at WGY, probably back in the early 60s. And he said he wanted to learn about radio. And Bill Edwardson said, well, why don't you get in your car and drive over? He listened to that deep voice, come on over. And Eddie said, look, I'm only 14 years old. I can't drive a car yet.
That paved the way for his first TV job. Barely able to shave, there he was, covering sports at WTEN.
Ed O'Brien is live at the Civic Center. Eddie?
All right, thank you, Rip. First, a little housekeeping. The Wings went 1-3-1 on that road trip, and tonight they're hoping home cooking will help out.
He spent most of his time right there on the phone, digging, or out on the street with a camera, getting the sports stories, and he put everything he had into the business.
Ed covered it all in Albany and the Capital Region, the 1980 Lake Placid Olympics, the Patroons, the AC Yankees, LA Laker coach, and Schenectady native Pat Riley.
You have a cheering section from over there here?
Well, they only gave us 25 tickets, so how are we going to have a cheering section? But anyways, I'm sure they're over the airwaves and paying a lot of attention to the old Schenectady boy.
And it was around that same time that Ed's lifelong love affair with horse racing and Saratoga blossomed.
I know I sound like a broken record, but it's really been so nice up here this year, and no rain, and the crowds have been huge. It's just been tremendous so far.
Like all love affairs, it had its ups and downs.
I guess I'm just one of those people who feels that anything that can go wrong will. And 3 years ago in a media race, I was right. The saddle came off this horse. Naturally, I did too.
But Ed always went back for more.
Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. Nice view from up here.
Piece of cake, piece of cake.
Ed was at home at the track. There he was friend to the common man.
Ed, an absolute fixture at the track. Love the horses.
And the uncommon woman.
Ed O'Brien has done so much for all of us at the racetrack and for this community.
In 1991, Ed moved on to WRGB, where he would spend the next 24 years. This was day one.
And we welcome Ed O'Brien.
Oh, thank you very much.
It is
such a pleasure to be here.
Great.
You know? I've always wanted to work here.
Great. Well,
finally get the opportunity. Now, if I can just muddle through this thing, I'll be all set. Evander Holyfield, you know, was the underdog tonight.
At WRGB, Ed would make this seamless transition from sports to news. He could make governors and others in power sweat by always asking the question that needed to be asked.
You got beat up pretty good along the way, though, didn't you? I mean, you're a racing guy.
How do I look? Huh?
He was a natural, no pretenses, just Ed.
yep, the real adventurers love the ropes course compared to the zip line.
Do I seem like an adventurer to you?
No.
He became the Channel 6 morning anchor in 1994 and spent years bantering with meteorologist Tom Maley.
Now, wait.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Nobody hit the Mega Millions last night, so we were wondering yesterday when they have these drawings. We're so out of the loop.
I think at times it was almost like people were listening in on a conversation between two guys sitting there having coffee in the morning, and he brought so much of that and taught me so many things about that. So we just had this camaraderie that was excellent.
Ed had camaraderie with everyone, including David Letterman.
It seems to me that the city is a big part of this show. I mean, it's the fabric of the show is ingrained in the city and vice versa.
Right, that's right. And the same would be true if we did the show in Albany or London or San Francisco.
Oh, there's a big chance you'll be doing the show in Albany sometime soon.
Invite us. You know, it's the state's capital.
Former Schenectady Mayor Al Jasinski was a frequent morning guest. He and Ed became friends for life.
Off camera, you know, we'd be joking around, and I always appreciated that. And I actually got to, that part of him actually endeared him to me because I just thought he was just a regular guy.
And that regular guy just kept doing his job every morning for 24 years, most recently with co-anchor Julia Dunn.
Am I the only one on the desk here that's a fan of the Royals?
Clearly. Yep.
Really? Oh,
yes. You know,
I love them, so...
we had this Revolutionary War.
Oh, stop.
Ed was passionate about many things, but the light of Ed's life was his daughter Jackie. They shared a love for sports, but mostly a love for being together.
Ed lived his life for Jackie.
For years, he coached Jackie's softball teams, perhaps the only coach in modern history whose jersey was always a Hawaiian shirt. And even though Ed was old school when the internet and social media became a big part of the business, Ed's Head, his daily online take on life, was a smash hit.
This is according to the journal Applied Physiology, Nutrition and Metabolism, which must be a fascinating read on a daily basis. I got a request from one of the regular viewers of Ed's Head to stop moving the camera so much, but I'm told that a lot of people like it. This is a different medium, you know, because we're on the web, not on TV. I should introduce myself as TV's Ed O'Brien.
And that is how he will be forever remembered, as TV's Ed O'Brien, as our Ed O'Brien.
He's going to go down in the record books as one heck of a young man. A very reliable person, a very respectable, humble person who I think the young people of today in the business are looking up to and to whom all of us really respect.
And it was clear that all of you certainly looked up to and respected Ed. The comments on social media have been pouring in all day long. Jean says, my thoughts and prayers are with Ed's family and friends from Channel 6. I always look forward to each morning to his news broadcast, watching him for many years. I always look forward to August. His excitement for Saratoga Racetrack and his love of horses was wonderful. He will be missed.
Sheila says, with sadness, I send my condolences to Ed's family and his news family. I grew up with Ed. We all called him Obi. He used to walk down the street singing Blue Suede Shoes. He loved that song. He would even move his feet while singing. If not singing or playing kickball, he would practice talking like David Allen.
Wanted to sound like him on the radio, and she went on to say, rest in peace, Ed. And then Beverly said, it was very hard watching the news this evening. I feel like Ed was just a great newscaster. He will surely be missed. My condolences go out to his family and co-workers. Rest in peace, Ed.
And Steve's here now. Steve, you worked with him in the morning for a couple of years.
I did, yeah.
A couple of best years of your life, I think, right?
Absolutely. And just a quick story to share that was just shared with me this evening brought a smile to my face and a smile to Amanda Bertram, who was a former CBS 6 producer that worked very closely with Ed. Made her laugh tonight, so maybe it'll make you laugh as well. She tells me that Ed would always watch the evening broadcast the night before in preparation for the morning, which is typical, and every now and again would send her in an email one-liners so that she'd get them when she came in the next morning. And one of those emails had to do specifically with me, and his email to her was something about my tie, and he had said to her the next morning when he came in, hey, did you get my email about the Chiefs tie with the heavy sigh? And this was the screen capture that came along with that email. What a horrible tie that was. And if I had ever showed up on First News when I worked with Ed, that's something that he would not let me live down for sure. And I can just hear the words coming out of his mouth now if he had seen that on me on First News. What were you thinking? Awful. But really a testament to who he was. I mean, a tell it like it is person to your face, great honesty, great compassion.
And he wore Brooks Brothers ties.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, his ties were great. Clearly much better than my choice at that point. So I wanted to share that with you because it made me smile tonight. And I didn't even know about that. That was back in 2008 that email went out.
And I just wanted to say something about how smart Ed was. He really was the smartest newsman I've ever known. He was a detail guy, so that he really cared deeply about getting every little fact right. That was very important to him. And it was interesting, we talk about the young people that worked with him, and they all adored him. They all wanted to be like him. And his idea of mentoring, though, was more or less to maybe give him a winner at the first race at Belmont. But all you had to do was then sit and watch him, and you would learn so much about integrity and hard work and accuracy and all the things that were like the basics of journalism, because he absolutely defined them all.
Absolutely. I'll give you the true measure of the man. I spent a lot of time with Ed in his last few weeks, And every time I would go to visit him at hospice, he would ask me about a woman that we work with who is also battling cancer. And she has 2 small children. Every time I went in, he'd ask, how is her chemo going? How is she doing? And he would say to me, I'll never forget the one time he said to me, I wish I could take her cancer and double up on mine so her kids wouldn't have to worry about their mom. That's the kind of guy Ed was. Smart, as you said, but also so caring, and a heart as big as all.
And he didn't want anybody to know, and that's why I think he gave you that really gruff
that's
exterior.
Right. He had that tough exterior,
he
but
couldn't
inside.
hide it, though.
No, he couldn't. That's right, and we knew, and I know you knew as well. And we hope that you will continue to share your memories of Ed with us. Do it on Facebook, Twitter pages. You can also visit CBS6Albany.com for a look back at his incredible career and his impact on all of us, the whole community. There are also some highlights and some of his best moments here at CBS 6.